Hello? What's your favorite scary movie?
Welcome back, guys, gals, and my they-them pals. Today I'm talking about Scream 6. Now, as the few people who watched the video that I posted the other day, you know that I went to go see Scream 6 the other day, but due to altercations, I wasn't able to see the film. But now that I have, I'm delighted to do my review on it. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest. There isn't anything really special about this Scream movie. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad by any means, and I think it's probably my third favorite one. But at the same time, it's kind of just any old Scream movie. I feel like the franchise had a big problem after the first movie came out, where it decided that the killer at the end was always going to be revealed to be one of the characters we knew all along. That has now become the weakest part of these movies. So I was kind of hoping for Scream 6 it would be something different, and no, it's almost exactly what I expected. Now overall, the film is fine. I enjoyed myself in the theater when I watched it, and I don't agree with people who say it's dog shit. I don't understand who is hating on this film because it's kind of just like every other Scream. These movies instantly became formulaic because it's kind of just, watch our main character survive the Ghostface attacks until half of them die, Ghostface reveals himself, and then the heroes defeat him, which is exactly what happened here. Now, I know that that whole setup is kind of vague and you can do a lot with it, and that's kind of my exact point. The last two films have been kind of weirdly unoriginal, at least for the reveals, in my opinion. I don't know if this isn't clear at all, but spoiler for the Scream franchise in general and this new film, just in case that message wasn't splattered across the board. But the twist of Scream 5 is dumb. It's just one of our main characters' boyfriends again. And I'm gonna be real with you guys, the boyfriend thing should never be done again after the first movie. It's too suspecting and dumb when you make a character who almost has no reason to be the killer throughout all of the film just randomly be the killer. There's no payoff. There's no suspecting shit. You already immediately cross them off your list because there's no way it'd be them. But it's not cool when it winds up being them. It's fucking lame. Because then they write these characters to have shitty motivation and have them do shitty impressions of Stu from Scream 1. So with Scream 5 having the killings between Jenna Ortega's best friend and Jenna Ortega's sister's boyfriend, we find out their motivation is simply the stab movies were getting dumb, so we wanted to give the creators new source material. And we're true fans of the franchise, and we're like super... The point is, these characters are such super movie fans that they do anything to make these movies good again, and it's kind of like stupid as shit. So when Scream 6 was getting promoted and I was seeing more trailers for it, I was really hoping we weren't gonna get a very similar scenario, and we kinda did. With the reveal being, yet again, characters that you wouldn't suspect the entire time, but for the wrong reason. And in this movie, there's 3 ghost faces. And it turns out it's the family of Richie. You remember Richie? That was Sam's boyfriend from Scream 5, who was a homicidal maniac who tried to murder her and her sister because he didn't like the Stab franchise anymore. What does that sound like, ladies and gentlemen? Well, you know, it kind of sounds like Billy's mom coming back as Ghostface in Scream 2, getting mad at Sydney for killing her homicidal killer son. Why the fuck are these parents avenging their homicidal killer sons?
Nice twist, huh? Didn't see it coming, did ya?
I think the twist in Scream 2 is stupid, and I think the twist in Scream 6 is stupid. But I honestly think the twist itself is the thing I dislike the most about this movie. There's no build-up, there's no payoff, it's just kind of dumb. And I feel like these movies have a big problem where Ghostface is fucking awesome and a cool antagonist until they take the mask off and it's just some random fucking guy that we forgot was in the movie. If I do a ranking video on this franchise, I'd like to get a lot more into it and my gripes with the twists. But for now, I think I'm gonna have to continue just talking about Scream 6, no matter how much I want to talk about the other films. I also think overall this is my biggest problem with the film. There are things Scream 6 does a lot better than Scream 5, like the characters they decide to have around, the interactions between characters. Jenna Ortega is a very talented actress and has like one of the most believable performances throughout both of the films she's in. She has realistic fights with her sister, realistic points to make throughout the movie, and is overall like a surprisingly realistic character. They also seem to keep around the same friend group from last time, but only keeping the best characters from it, which works out nice. I didn't really dislike the characters from the last one, and like I said, they picked the best from that group. One thing I'll give the newer Scream films credit for is the violence. It's way more realistic, I feel like, than it ever has been, and genuinely disturbing. Something specifically Scream 5 and 6 have been getting into is really cool body horror shit. We've seen so many different things happen to people's, like, faces in the last two films, and I can't wait to see more of it. It's, in the best way, so disgusting. And I'm really impressed by the way they up the kills in this one. Ghostface in this film is more intimidating than he ever has been. And although I really don't like the reveal, before you find out who Ghostface is, as I said, the character is fucking awesome. I also just really like the mask in this film too. It was supposed to be Billy's mom's mask from Scream 2, but I like that it was just all worn out and beat up. It looked really, really sick. And it also made the character look scarier. I like the Ghostface from Scream 6 because he taunts our victims and knows almost everything about all of the different Scream events. I also think he's the most ballsy and one of the scariest ghost faces we've seen on screen. He made it very clear that he will kill anybody in his way of getting to his goal, which was pretty much just making Sam look like a piece of shit murderer, but also to kill Sam. The motivation really falls apart once you figure out who it is. This version of the character does not go down easy and is a completely different version than we've ever seen. Usually Ghostface it's pretty easy to knock him down on his ass and just completely fuck him over while you get into the next room, but that was almost impossible here. This motherfucker was kicking doors down, shooting people with shotguns, just overall being a sadistic fuck, chopping people to bits, throwing people off of ladders. I'm not usually this frightened for my characters when Ghostface is around. Usually I'm just kind of like, well, if you guys get out of his vision and knock him the fuck down, he's pretty useless. Just don't get stabbed. And I know that's like a lot easier said than done, but for these characters, they're pretty used to it. But in this one, he was like this crazy unstoppable force. Every time they tried to knock him down, it was difficult as shit, and they weren't actually able to stop Ghostface until they had all three versions in this movie together at once. And even then, I'm a little surprised at the fact that once they're not wearing the costume, they're so much less effective at killing these people, because I don't know who the fuck was under the robes at certain points, but some of those guys are strong as shit. This Ghostface has so much power compared to other incarnations. I really think this film has some of the best action scenes throughout the whole series. Gale Weathers versus Ghostface is one of the most drawn-on fights between the characters, but is a cool as shit interaction and one of my favorites throughout the film. Really sad we had to lose her in this one. Rest in peace, Gale Weathers. And with her gone and Sydney just not being in these movies anymore, it's pretty clear we're following the Jenna Ortega characters now, which kind of comes to my next point. They need to stop making the twists so fucking dumb. Like, I don't think they're nearly as random as maybe Scream 3, for instance, when it was random, which we'll get into that in a different fucking day. But I also think making these characters all linked with the same superfan that was already a dumbass character is stupid. You know, with all the insight they had on these people, I thought that Ghostface was going to be revealed to be somebody else altogether. Billy and Stu work as a reveal because it's not unbelievable that they'd be crazy killers. It kind of fits really into their personality. Billy is a creepy fucking guy. He was never not guilty because you can just hear it in his voice. There's evidence showing why he isn't guilty, but as soon as he admits it, you're like, oh shit, that actually makes a lot of sense. And Stu is an asshole. He's crazy and sporadic throughout the entire film, and he just amps it the fuck up towards the end. But in these newer movies, you have characters who are completely different throughout the entire movie, and at the very end, they're just randomly fucking crazy. They just want to fucking kill you. And it doesn't make any fucking sense, because you just spent the whole movie with these characters who were just boring. They just do nothing with them until they're like, nope, they're the killer because you saw them the least. That's the stupidest fucking turnout ever. I really hope Scream 7 fixes this problem, but honestly, if we get another film where our characters run from Ghostface, almost die from Ghostface, and then we find out Ghostface is Richie's fucking grandmother, and now she's mad because all of her grandkids and her son is dead, I'm gonna be really annoyed. because connecting these movies through the killer is stupid as shit, and I really hope that Scream 7 has something fun to do. If you're not gonna make killers who make sense to be killers, especially in a franchise that's not as simple as, especially now that their stories aren't as simple as a couple of high school killings, they're widespread. The universe the story takes place in knows all about the Ghostface murders and the Stab franchise. It's on a completely different level than it ever has been. So I think where the writers are having trouble is they don't know why the fuck a Ghostface killer would come after the newer characters. It's kind of random both times, because our main characters don't actually have anything to do with them besides the fact that Sam is Billy's daughter, but overall, that doesn't really play a massive plot into why Ghostface is doing what they're doing. They're just killing people who are related to the original characters in the 5th one, and in the 6th one, they're just killing fucking anybody. I'm really curious to see how Scream 7 goes because of that. Because there's no way to connect Ghostface to these characters without them just making something up that's new. I really hope that if they do make something up, it's good, because currently, I really just don't want these movies to get really bad. The longer they keep going, the cornier they'll get, and I kind of thought this franchise learned that early on. But I think, honestly, the newer Scream films are where this series is going to get bad. And I don't know if I'm correct about that, but with the way it's going, I can totally see it happening. Now, although I seem a little negative, I did not dislike Scream 6. I thought it had really cool kills, gruesome effects, fun characters, and a really cool Ghostface until the end. So, I'm gonna give Scream 6 a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching. I just reviewed Scream 1 the other day, so if you're curious, you should totally go check that out and see why it's my favorite slasher of all time. I also have a playlist full of different movie and TV show reviews, so if you're interested in that, check it out. So as always, like, subscribe, and save Norbert now. Goodbye, guys.